Hi, I'm Lizzie Buchan. I'm the Mirror's political editor and phoning in from Beijing. We've just arrived after a grueling 12-hour flight with Prime Minister Keir Starmer and a number of business leaders, cultural chiefs, the business secretary, all here to bang the drum for British business and to drive up trade. Now, this is a really important trip because no British Prime Minister has been to China on an official visit since 2018 when Theresa May came, and after that we saw a real sort of deterioration in UK-China relationship. So Keir Starmer kind of alluded to this ahead of the trip. He said he wanted we'd gone from a golden age to an ice age, and he was trying to turn that around. But there are lots of difficult questions that he faces on how he's going to handle this trip. He's meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping on Thursday. Should be a really important meeting, and obviously he's got to talk about trade, he's got to talk about the economy, because that's going to have a huge impact on jobs back in Britain, on trade, all of that sort of thing, which is going to make a big difference if the Prime Minister can get it right at a moment when Donald Trump is behaving erratically on the world stage, threatening tariffs and sending the global economy into turmoil. So that is what the Prime Minister is here to do, but there are also really difficult questions around national security, around human rights, all sorts of challenging things that he may want to raise. Now, on the plane, we fired a bunch of questions at him, as is the traditional way. So the Prime Minister came back to where the journalists were sitting, sort of towards the back of the plane, and took 20 plus questions from journalists on a range of different topics, and he didn't really say a lot about what he wanted to raise in the meeting. He didn't seem to want to preempt that. And it reminded me a bit of when I travelled with him to the White House last year for his first meeting with Donald Trump after the beginning of his second presidency. Aides were very tense. The PM didn't really want to say anything that might wind him up in advance. The stakes don't feel quite as high on this trip, but Starmer clearly didn't want to do anything to put a foot wrong before he has that crucial meeting. So we're going to be here for the next couple of days, following the Prime Minister around before we head off to Japan.
Everybody, the Prime Minister. Thank you very much, and thank you to the whole delegation for being here and for your enthusiasm. They say that 8 days is a long time in politics. Try 8 years, because it's 8 years since a British Prime Minister stepped on Chinese soil. And so on this delegation, you're making history. You're part of the change that we're bringing about. And that's consistent with everything that we've done in government, particularly internationally, because we are resolute about being outward-looking, about taking opportunities, building relationships, having confidence globally, and always being absolutely focused on our national interest. And it is in our national interest to engage with China. It's the second biggest economy in the world. If you take Hong Kong alongside China, it's our third biggest trading partner. There are huge opportunities to be had in lots of different sectors, and we see that reflected in the delegation that we've got, because we've got the very best that we're bringing from the United Kingdom in business, in sport, in culture, in art. We've got a fantastic team on this delegation. I'm really pleased to be here with you. And I've got a great team with me. I've got Peter Kyle, who's not with us this evening. He's already gone off to start his work. I've got Lucy behind here to my left, and I've got Varun here to my right. So we've got a strong team, and we want to use this opportunity to talk to you about the opportunities here in China, the sectors you're most interested in. And so what we're doing here is engaging and building a comprehensive, consistent, stable, strategic approach to China, which is much needed, has huge opportunities. And for me, the most important thing, as ever, is to be absolutely determined that this will deliver back into the United Kingdom. Because everything you're doing here, everything I'm doing here, is focused on how do we benefit people at home in the United Kingdom, where whatever's going on in the world, I'm afraid, their number one concern will be the cost of living. How do they make ends meet? And therefore, in everything we do here in China, it's that we have uppermost in our mind. It's those people that we have in our mind's eye as we make our decisions and take our opportunities. Of course, we will have to manage our differences, but that's what you do with a mature, consistent, comprehensive and strategic approach to China. We manage our differences, we take our opportunities, and we constantly think, how does this deliver for people back at home? So I'm much looking forward to spending time with you, and we've got 2 or 3 days together, so let's make the most of it. Thank you all very much for being here on this historic trip. Thank you.